Hey guys, Ycoms here, and welcome to a very special video on the channel. These are the highlights of the first round of the F1 Esports League Championship. You might be wondering, what the hell is this? Well, let me explain you quickly what this series is all about. Basically, around the release of F1 2017, Codemasters and Gfinity announced that they would run the first ever F1 Esports series on the F1 games. And basically there are various qualifying routes where you can qualify to be one of the top 40 drivers to compete in the live semi-final in London, where you can qualify yourself for the final in Abu Dhabi, where you can watch the real life F1 Grand Prix and obviously compete for this esports title. There are two qualifying routes going on at the moment. One of them being the online qualification in game through the events at Monza and Japan. You might have seen that in the game as well. And this second one here, which is what I'm at least trying to just give it a go, really, is this league championship, which is hosted by AOR. Other leagues got invited as well, such as a Formula Italian team, I think it's called, yes, Race Stars, and a Team Redline as well, which is a sim racing team, basically more popular on sims like iRacing or something. So that is very cool to see, really. And yeah, the grids are absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen the live streams, you should definitely watch them on AOR Physics channel. I linked the live stream from the PC race on the Wednesday in the description. But anyway, without further ado, let's just jump straight into this first round here at Shanghai, on board with my qualifying lap in the McLaren. Going into turn one now, a little bit wide approach, I have to say, really. Going very deep midway through the corner. Had to cut back to the apex quite a bit there. Traction out of turn 3 and 4 is very crucial. We managed to do quite nice. This is our second lap on our first try, really. Just to try to set a very good banker for hopefully the final run to improve this overall lap time. Pretty good through turn 6, I have to say. Turn 7 here is flat out. You don't really want to touch the curb down the inside, which we managed to avoid pretty good. And sweeping into 4th gear into turn 9 and 10 now. Double left-hander, staying in 4th gear if I can, really. But pretty good exit out of there. We are now up on our time, which is a 32.9. This is nowhere near what I want to do, really, in this qualifying session. And now through this very tricky traction zone onto the very long back straight. Pretty good traction out of there once again, getting a little bit of more time on the personal best at the moment, opening up the DRS as early as possible. That car on the right hand side is going out of the way there. Nice. That's actually Kulowski, which is one of many returning drivers actually to the F1 games in this series. The curb there on the outside, that's not gonna give us any good traction whatsoever. Through the final corner we go, pretty much on the lines there as well. And what time is it going to be? It's going to be a 32.4. I have to admit, as a banker, that wasn't too bad. Oh, there we go, as we get knocked out into pieces straight away by Graham Carroll, which is a very familiar name for those of you who are familiar with iRacing or just sim racing in general, really. A very quick guy on all types of games, really. And this is my final run. I was up by over 2/10, but I completely messed up this hairpin, so I could not improve on my time. So it is again, it's not really a surprise seeing Graham Carroll there at the front, but still, though, for many of these guys who now, in this series, has been a long time or the first time ever playing F1 games, and just to see them at the top there is pretty incredible. RBK, the only one who was a regular driver, really, for the last few months there in P3, popping up there pretty good. P6 on the starting grid, I mean, could have been definitely worse, but honestly, I was over 4/10 behind my PB in that session, so not really what I want. Strategy-wise, you can see it is dry for the race, so that's pretty good, actually, I would say, because for people who know me, I'm not the best driver in the wet, I have to say. But we are aiming for a one-stop, starting on the super soft, going onto the softs. It is a tricky strategy to pull off, I have to admit. and especially with having 2 qualifying laps, you know, done on this set of tires already on the super softs. So we will have to go to the end of lap 10 to really make this work. So we just hope to have a clean start here and really see what we can do against these absolute sim racing aliens, and obviously competitors from season 13, which we already know from previous AOR seasons. As the lights are going on here for the Chinese Grand Prix, there's a jump start behind that is Klowodzki, and that just completely caught me out. We completely missed the launch of, you know, off the line there. Very, very poor reactions. Michael just goes straight past that. The GP, I think that was the F2 champion from PC Split 2 last season. Yeah, it is now obviously the aim here to go around Klowodzki as soon as possible, because it obviously has the jump start. Well, he will go into the pits anyway, so it doesn't really matter if we will overtake him or not. But pretty clean start, apart from you know, just not getting the best launch out of there. Anyway, very close to Klowodzki's rear tire, but staying behind for the moment. So we lost basically 1 position, but that's basically only because of the jump start. And now it is all about calming down the nerves a little bit, which, you know, got me at the end of qualifying really, and trying to settle into this race. Pace looked good. So, and as well, I think the strategy is definitely one of the better ones, which not everyone will try, I would assume at least. So, I would assume so at least. So, yeah, just trying really to see how quick these guys there up in front, because many of these guys I haven't raced ever really. So yeah, it's definitely a new environment for many people here in this race here today, and obviously want to put up a good show here as well for this first ever race in this Esports League Championship. As we're now going up the inside of Klowodzki, we had the better straight line speed, well, with the slipstream at least. We are not quite getting the car turned in there with the fuel. That is also Michael getting very close to our rear tire. I didn't actually quite see him, as I just completely made up a mess of that final corner as Klowodzki dives into the pits to service drive-through penalty. That was RBK in the wall there. That is very unfortunate for him. Race already over for him after 1 lap, after such a good qualifying. So he had to defend from Michael there into turn 1 and 2, but we, you know, maintain that position for the moment. We are now up into P5, but pretty far down on the leaders already. So we will try our best really to, you know, just settle into a rhythm now. Hopefully don't need to defend once more from the cars behind. Yeah, just try to replicate something that we, well, the strategy that we did in the in the practice session. So yeah, that is definitely the aim to do so. Not really good lap so far, I have to admit. A couple of missing apexes, etc. 2.1 seconds is the gap to Cam. Many A's there in there. It's Cam Stark, I think. Well, I don't know when he competed in the AOR leagues. It must have been quite a while ago, but I remember him also doing some iRacing stuff at some point. I'm not entirely sure anymore, really. Many of these guys have been in the F1 league, or have left the AOR F1 leagues before I even started league racing, so that's very interesting. That's interesting here as well. Interesting braking attempt there into the hairpin, so we're definitely not really up to speed whatsoever. Jembolok Basi, who took the lead at the start of the first lap, is now leading the race. We are 9/10 off that first lap time. That is just nowhere near really what I want to do at the moment. That is not gonna help either. Very scrappy first couple of laps here from us. Really, it is a surprise that we haven't lost any positions really from the start. There's an absolute train forming behind us really. But luckily we don't lose any positions, even though we do these type of mistakes at the moment. Lost another 9/10 to Cam in 2 sectors now. Really, just the aim is really now to cool down. Try to just get into a decent rhythm as soon as possible. It's a little bit better on this lap, I have to admit. Well, apart from turn 1 really. Just went around completely wide. This double left, I just don't like this double left-hander whatsoever. I'm not even sure if I should take my, sometimes I take 3rd, sometimes I take 4th through there. That's deep as well into that corner. Yeah, I'm just not really sure what to make of this corner. This is probably one of the strongest corners of the track for me. For some reason, I always get good traction out of here. I just noticed that in practice as well, and in the race so far, really, getting some very good exits out of there, and Michael not close enough at all, really, to challenge into the hairpin, and a better hairpin now for us. Also braking way earlier now, trying to be very conservative to, you know, pick up a little bit of pace as Graham Carroll sets a new fastest lap of the race, but still in P2. See the top 4 there going away, obviously, as well. Olli Pakala in this race, his big game attack is Oslo, he's in P3, so another sim racing legend. He also competed in the well, actually, I'm not entirely sure who of these guys also competed in the Vegas e-race. Olli Pakala definitely did, but I'm not sure anymore, to be honest. As we're now making a big jump to lap 8, nothing really happened. We got we dispatched Michael quite a bit, actually. We got finally into a rhythm, and we caught Cam here in the last couple of laps. I think also with a little bit of better tire wear at this point. As you can see in the minimap there, that is the top 2 pitting. Jem Bolok-Basi, I should mention, pitted on lap 5, I think, 5 or 6. So very early pit stop. And now Graham Carroll and Olli Pakala in the pits as well. And now it's basically Cam inheriting the lead. A little bit of a slide there into turn 1 once again. Dirty is definitely kicking in behind cars, and definitely with these completely shot super soft at this point, it is definitely going to be not too easy to follow Cam around this track and potentially make an overtake. 61% already on on the left rear tire. That is definitely too high, really. But yeah, I guess we just have to deal with it and try to go to lap 10 anyway. And definitely still hitting some decentish line. Cam very sideways there through turn 8 once again, and completely missing the apex again. So he's all over the place, really, in these last couple of corners. So we definitely will try to set him up for a potential overtake into the hairpin, trying to get decent traction out of these next 2 corners. Here we go, turn to 12, 13. A little bit catching the curb on the inside, that didn't really help, but still a decent enough exit. We got some good straight line speed, I think, with our wings we are running. So we're trying to gain as much in the slipstream as possible, pulling to the inside now. Cam not going defensive, braking hard down into 2nd gear, and we are clear for you know, to run right there, but he's going for the switchback, so we have to defend into the final corner, which is not really something we want to do. Running a little bit wide, and Cam now with the switchback once again, but we will have the inside lap on turn 1 and 2, so normally this should be a huge advantage into these couple of corners if we don't lose the backhand once again like we did on the previous lap. And there we go, we clear for turn 3 and 4, although we run a little bit wide there as well. We can get the traction nailed. Yes, we can. That is provisional P1 for us, but definitely at the moment net P4, I would assume, behind Graham, Ollie, and Jem, who obviously pitted earlier. Yeah, strategy-wise, definitely interesting what the others will do. And if you pit like lap 8, you can go into the mediums or something and do the 1-stop maybe. I think Jem is definitely on a 2-stop at this point, because he's, you know, just I mean, if you pit on lap 5 or 6, really, I don't know, that's not beneficial at all, really, unless you want to go for huge undercuts on these mediums. But obviously you have to go through the traffic as well, because pretty much everyone, I guess, out of the top 10 started on fresh softs or mediums. So definitely, you know, that's definitely something I had in mind as well, to pit as late as possible to avoid as much traffic as possible. 71% on the rear left, so definitely these tires are crying quite a bit, and it is time really to go into the pits at the end of this lap. That's not a very good hairpin whatsoever. Definitely the back end is very loose, and this ramp drop also very close behind us. Now going into the pits. That's too late on the brakes there, my friend. Running very deep, and that's allows Cam to go side by side into the pit entry. We're barely slowing the car down as well, so very lucky there as well, to be honest. And is now, you know, driving inside Cam's car, kind of. So it's definitely going to be interesting who has the better pit stop. Normally the car behind will have the better one, but we are pretty good on the releasing the car there on the clutch, and somehow we have jumped Cam in the pits, even though we had the, you know, the box that was behind him. So that's something very, very interesting. I think we were just quicker off the launch there of the, you know, you have to obviously launch the car out of the pit box yourself. I guess we reacted to that a little bit better than he did, and it's something very, very crucial, especially since we see he is on the medium tires now. So definitely now the task is to pull away, and we can see we just have no one ahead of us. So we have clean air for next 3 laps, which is definitely what we want. We can also see Oslo, so Olli Pakala, on super softs. So he is definitely going to to do a second stop. So that's definitely interesting as well, to see towards the end of the race if he can catch us once again. That's not going to help at the end of lap 16. That's I should admit that is the only warning I got for drag limits. I struggled so much in this first half, or you know, up until this one with the hairpin, with the braking points. Really, I just couldn't get it right whatsoever. As we are now, well, we skipped 6 laps basically because nothing really happened. Some very, very consistent laps, I have to say. Most of the time between 35.5, 35.9, something like that. So definitely the pace also, which I did in practice. So that's very, very good. As we now have Failer ahead of us. Obviously someone familiar from season 13 in AOR, and he has not pitted yet. So he is, yeah, he's definitely going on to the super softs at the end of the race. Really probably pitting at the end of this lap. And ahead of us we have. We have Olli Pakala and Graham, I think, in second. Graham Carroll in second. Jem already went for the second pit stop, I think, at the end of last lap. So he went. So that's definitely going to be someone to watch out as well, since he was leading the race, obviously due to the undercut. So it's definitely going to be interesting if that 2-stop is going to work out for him, as we are definitely now trying to set up Failure here for an overtake into on the straight. Really some good exit out of there. I think we should be close enough to gain enough in the slipstream and the DRS. There we go, going to the inside of Bala, a little bit of weakling on the straight. Not sure why I did that, but anyway, not moving over because, you know, just to be safe. And there we go, that is P3 for the moment, but obviously that is going to be very, very interesting strategy wise. So Olli Pakala in the pits now. And it is going to be very interesting if these guys who are now on the 2-stop can really catch me, especially at the moment. Obviously, I'm not sure at the moment what Graham Carroll is doing, because he pitted on lap 8 and 20 laps on the soft tires. I am not sure if that's possible, or, well, he will definitely be in punctured territory for the last lap maybe or something. So it's definitely something, you know, to keep in mind for the next couple of laps. And I wondered if he was going to pit this lap. No, he doesn't. He stays out once again. So I assumed at this point really he would try to go to the end, and the gap 3.8 seconds, and we will stay. I think we will stay on board with this lap to see how this gap really develops, because this lap is actually pretty textbook how this gap really developed in the next few laps, really, in terms of, yeah, how it, well, yeah, especially through the sectors as well. The difference in the sector times is determined, really. Also setup difference between the two of us. So first sector he's gaining half a tenth, I think. Yeah, that's around about right. I think in the first sector we were pretty equal most of the time, really, on these laps. Laps at the moment. Cam, look at the gap to Cam, by the way, 7 seconds. So we pulled a 7-second gap in 9 laps on, and 8.5 laps on Cam. So that's definitely very, very good to see. And I'm not sure who is behind Cam on the mini-map there. That might be actually Ram, or it might be Jem. I'm not sure. It could be either one of the two of them, but still they have to catch such a huge amount of time as Graham gains another 2 times in the middle sector. He was definitely faster in the middle sector all race, really. Well, all race, just, you know, when I could compare with him, really, when he was ahead now. So, but in this final sector, you will able to see something very, very interesting as we're now coming down into the hairpin. Yeah, I think this hairpin, I really got the hang of it now. Finally, it took long enough, really, through qualifying and first after of the race, really, to, you know, get it right. And then now I'm really properly into the rhythm I want to be in. with clean air, 3.6. So we gained half a second in the final sector, and that has really been a trend for this next couple of laps as well. Just gaining constantly half a second in the final sector. It just is a clear indicator that we have better straight line speeds than him on the straights, so he's definitely running higher wings at some point, but it shouldn't really matter since 3.5, surely that's not catchable. We will now skip through the laps. 3.5 at the start of lap 22, and we go into the next lap 3, so we gained another half a second, and 2.5, so another half a second, so we're definitely catching a little bit more now. 2.1, another 4 tenths now, only 2 seconds to gap, and at the start of lap 26 it is only 1.8 seconds, and at this point I was really, I don't know, I didn't really think at the start of lap 18 that I would really close in on him, because considering the pace he was running, I don't know, really all race long. But it really seemed like that tire-wise I really had an advantage with these 2 laps, and him obviously being stuck in traffic for a majority of that second stint, really, until, you know, maybe lap 16, 17, until people started to pit. That definitely went into our favor as well, to gain back some time on him. So really, after since the pit entry mess up, really, from myself, everything went into my favor regarding strategy and everything, really. Cam's still in third, so the 2 stoppers are not making any progress whatsoever. 1.7 seconds now to Graham Carroll, and really, we are now in a pound seat. We have the chance to maybe catch him and maybe make a move in the last lap if we can keep the tires intact. That is definitely the crucial part. You can see 59% on the rear left. That is definitely very, very good. Considering we already are on lap 16 on these tires, but Graham Carroll's obviously on lap 18 on these tires already, and I'm very, very impressed how he has been, you know, able to keep these tires alive, reasonably alive, that much, really. But obviously now it is definitely the case that he is losing over half a second. Lap 1.2, we gained half a second once again in the third sector. 1.2 seconds, only 2 tenths away from DRS, and that will be something very, very crucial to achieve that on the penultimate lap, to potentially have the chance to make a move on the final lap. And I don't know, really. At the start of the race, I just didn't really think anything like this would happen. I thought, like, yeah, sure, with these types of mistakes I did in the first couple of laps, and also qualifying not going too well, it would be best, you know, to settle maybe for a P4, P5 something. I would have been happy actually with that. But no, people just are going for different strategies and just threw everything upside down, really. And traffic, etc., just going into my favor. Just everything went into my favor up until this point in these last 20 laps. And gap to Graham now 9 tenths, so we should have DRS. That's wide from him as well, not gonna help his run onto the straight whatsoever, and I think we will have the DRS here on the back straight. Yes, here we go, and let's see actually the straight line difference. Let's see how much we will gain. We know the slipstream and DRS is not as powerful as last year's game, but we're definitely gaining quite a bit here on towards the braking zone of the hairpin, and now we are pretty much right behind him, and there's only 1 lap to go. Can we do it on this final lap? That would be absolutely insane to do it. Not only because it's the final, but because of where we were, and that, you know, this guy is just an absolute monster in terms of driving in general. But I think just the advantage I had is that I am experienced on F1 games and know what I'm doing strategy-wise, etc. That is definitely something that I had an advantage on many of these guys in the field. And there we go, we are very, very close now behind Graham Carroll. I don't think we will do anything into turn 6, although we're having a look there on the curve there, but he is parking it very, very nicely here on the apex, and we have to settle behind. And yeah, it's really, you know, either waiting for a mistake to happen or for the long straight. As he's running wide once again, can we do anything into turn 8? That would be very, very dangerous as well, and now we're backing out of it just about, or just defending that position. But we are so close now through this middle sector as well. He's not able whatsoever to pull away, even though you know, he has been superior in the second sector. The tires are just absolutely gone for him. And now on to the final straight on lap 28. The traction is so crucial. We are almost in his gearbox coming onto the straight, and surely we are now in the pound seat, pulling out of the slipstream with Rich makes with the DRS. We're going past him straight away. Can we slow it down into the heaven? That is definitely very crucial. Will he launch it up the inside once again? No, he does not. And now is only one corner to go. We've made the move stick, but can we hold on onto the lead on in the final corner? Yes, we can. And somehow, incredibly, we have won round number 1 of the F1 Esports League Championship. And I just could not believe what just happened in these last 10 laps. Really, that was incredible. That was really incredible. The race in general, incredible. You will be able to see it throughout the field, how close it really was. There we go. There we go. I did not expect anything like this. Fantastic race. Congratulations to Graham Carroll, obviously, for a fantastic race. I mean, first time for him really on these types of games, so and for many other drivers as well. It's just really just shows the talent these guys have. Really, just pick up any racing game and just be fast on it instantly. Cam is salvaging P3, which was a little bit surprising because, oh yeah, in the end, Oli Pakala getting 4th and Jem only in 11th. So very unfortunate. I think there was a bug with his fuel or something. He ran out of fuel towards the end as well. So that is something very weird, which I have not, you know, seen at all. But here we go, final race classifications. 2 tenths in the end was the difference. Just incredible, really, I have to say. And there you can see, top all 18 drivers that finished within 44 seconds. I have not seen that in a long time in F1 League racing, I have to say. And it just shows how competitive this field is, even though everything was set up in such short notice, and we were, you know, wondering if we would even get enough sign-ups in, but it all really worked out in the end. And this race was just incredible to drive, and these last 10 laps were definitely the best laps I have ever driven on any, you know, on any racing game, on any league race and stuff like that. You can see the race director, I was constantly gaining 3, 4, 5 tenths really in the last 8 laps on him. Yeah, that is just something really that I will remember for a long time, this race really. But next time out, we will have the race at Bahrain. I'm not sure exactly how this will all plan out. Obviously, we are now in a very good position, obviously, for this 3-race championship. But yeah, I didn't expect anything like this to happen. So we will just, you know, move on and see what we can do at Bahrain. Thanks everyone for watching, and see you next week for round number 2. Bye bye.